they receive inside the walls of the very institutions designed to prevent such injustice and protect the public.
And I'm the law guarantee absolute confidence. I read the blue sea drawer. It's the ultimate mental and physical combo. 4 active ingredients, engineered with that mental switch. I get the blood pumping. So you're ready to execute and pressure.
You know the observant of something without the office. Notice the subject race as the balance fails to meet expectations. The subject considers must be a family member to the money and decides against it with a desperate act of survival. The subject searches catch-up landscapes. This never ends well, and yet they believes. Use the behavior of making the smart decision to apply to the office credit card. While approved in 2 minutes, this credit card has unapproved rates. No credit history needed 0%. Up to 10% cashback over 50,000 stores.
Now, where there's the footnote saying, footnote says, multiple copies of the thumb drive. The selection of the audio recordings referenced herein are attached as exhibit 1. Okay. So all this stuff is available. I've heard some of it out in the media. Some of that got not in the media, and I've heard some of it on the radio. And it's just, I don't know what to do. It's reading and reviewing. For the Nashville Police and Canton Police Department, who hired as well as observing these two for years, proctors and good, hateful and despicable views were not only part of their own daily vernacular, but were woven through the fabric of their organization's culture and everyday conversations. And we have to tell our viewers, you know, it's rough language, it's language that they can't put on TV and the radio, and we have redacted because it's not very YouTube friendly. I would read it out loud. I shot me to the feed, but YouTube has demonetized people and for actually deplatforming to talk about this. So we have redacted it. We generally tend to go every other one of these, or would you rather not read any?
I'll read some. Go ahead. We can do every other.
Want me to do the first one?
Yeah.
Actually, I already said the not react one of them, but I'll do that. After telling Good about a multi-part accident in Canton, Michael Proctor said, quote, actually take your time. I saw an N-word was involved, so I wouldn't rush if you were working. Let them die. And you know, just for your application, now this is big in the Boston News, and that tends to be the quote that most of the stations are running. That tends to be the quote. It's bad. But it goes down from there.
He said live yourself or something.
Yeah.
Hello.
My new BP is a giant malignant seed. I pray to the heavens that some F-up insect from the Amazon crawls up my weed, hatches eggs, and the litter kills
Hello.
from the inside out.
And we're just gonna
Hello.
from the fail to react. So the next one we will read is referring to his name.
Hello.
I can't actually hear that one. I make every possible effort. I wait till she's asleep and I try to get at it. I try every possible.
Hey, can you hear me? How's the audio?
I understand his wife is up. I don't want to get it across. I just want to stick to the legal shot.
Can you hear me now?
In the guidance office. No, I'm sorry. I try every effort possible. I try to get her hammered. I can't get anywhere near it. It's starting to even out. It's not cool. No, not really cool.
Went into Canton High this morning to get a
Okay, awesome. Awesome.
minutes the 4 years I spent there. Everywhere I looked,
I just wanted to go live. I had to take my mind off. Just sitting here. Go over these. This autopsy report. How you doing today?
observing hatred. I mean, what he's observing is things that he hates, and people. Okay,
The White House has been doing this person, of course, it's for many years since I sat there.
Yeah, I watched that live. It was awesome. I didn't watch the one after she was charging. Like when she came back. What? I don't know what happened there. Let's check it out.
I mean, that lady was an absolute sea, drag, and who had it in for some reason. Unfortunately, I know Randolph altogether. This is a complete asshole filled with ends and filled with ends and no good ends.
What, did they take it down?
It's because that's who they are. You know, there's going to be any repercussions, you know, because nobody's ever going to find out that's what he thinks because everybody else talks like this. That's the only thing I can think of, because otherwise, everybody.
I've never heard of this. I've never heard of this. I've never heard of this. She's a Jew, so death is
Before there is, I don't think so. I don't care if they are here legally or what their excuse was after before those sand ends.
Damn, that sucks.
Detroit should be destroyed along with places like Fort Michigan. They are breathing at grounds for ends to run the life.
It should be punch and end day and punch today on the revolution.
Yes, I did.
Shine, you see,
All these are drugs between their bones.
and this last author was the one you just read is this is the one that just stood out in my mind and jumped off the page and I say America sucks. Hitler was really off to something. Then the U.S. had to step in and
That was crazy. It's wild that it's not even in my history. Yeah, that's wild. So obviously they're monitoring the area.
Which dates back, and this I didn't know. I did not know this, but Will and Oscar apparently were friends way back in high school. They bonded over the war prison through which they both used.
100%. That's exactly right.
These distorted worldviews were shaped by unimaginable hatred and
Yep, I did see all that.
often wishing violence and death on them, demeaning them, or even suggesting planting evidence on
Every single one of us in here.
We're going to get through the baby. website, and it's all, they don't get demonetized if you talk to them. It's a one boundary, so anyway.
And in chips. Crawford would be these folks that live in the neighborhoods in which they live and work and where they eventually serve. They could more than just subscribe to
Excuse me. Yeah, I had a I'm trying to find my video. What the shadows.
Boston Mayor Michelle Wu, you'll see the governor from SYD. And it's going to get choppy because, here in New England, here in New England, the Patriots have been calling for decades how horrible record, horrible, terrible record. And then, the Pratt family walked up.
Probably have to mute. Well, shit on.
So, to call
Somewhere along the hotel room, that the guy started to realize that eternal fate has turned its back on him. It's 2 a.m. It's 2 a.m. It's 2 a.m. Figure it's gone. It's 2 a.m. The gun's still warm. Maybe my connection is tired of taking chances. Yeah, there's a storm on the loose, sirens in my head, wrapped up in silence, all circuits are dead. Can I decode? My whole life spins into a frenzy. I'm stepping into the twilight zone. This is the madhouse, feels like being gone. My beacon's been moved on the moon and stars.
I can't believe nobody ever pointed this out.
When the bullet hits the bone, so you'll come to know. When the bullet hits the bone, I'm falling down the spiral to destination unknown. Double cross messenger, all alone. Can't get no connection, can't get through, where are you? Well, the night weighs heavy on his guilty mind. This far from the borderline. When the hitman comes, he knows damn well he has been cheated. And he says, I'm stepping into the twilight zone. This is the madhouse, feels like being gone. My beacon's been moved on the moon and star. Where am I to go now that I've gone too far? So you will come to know when the bullet hits the bone. So you will come to know when the bullet hits the bone. When the bullet hits the bone. I'm stepping into this twilight zone. This is the madhouse, feels like being gone. My beacon's been moved and the moon and star. Where am I to go now that I've gone too far? I'm stepping into the twilight zone. This is the madhouse, feels like being gone. My beacon's been moved and the moon and star. Where am I to go now that I've gone so far? So you will come to know when the bullet hits the bone. So you will come to know when the bullet.
Yeah, I did. Sorry about that. I'm back. Excuse me. What I'm curious is who still lives back there. Like her, Dylan's still around, and yeah, you would think being as long as it was ago, like everybody would be out of there. What reason would they have to be there if they weren't in school? All right, let's see. Right. Yeah. Right. Okay, so this is the Hey Blue Devil, how are you? This is the exhibits in support of motion in limine. Witness identification. I want to see if we can find. Exhibits in support of motion in limine. Witness identification. Let's see here. So this is the actual motion in limine that these exhibits are for. And they don't want her to be able to say bushy eyebrows. Well, they didn't want her to say. Somebody's got to do it. I love barbecue. My house got barbecued. All right, so and this just goes through talking about the reliability of the witness, I guess DM. On November 13th, 2022, DM was inside the house when the murders occurred and saw a figure dressed in black when she peeked out of her bedroom door. Shortly after seeing the intruder, she went downstairs. The two girls fell asleep. 8 hours later, the two girls fell asleep. 8 hours later, a call was made from BF's phone. More than 8 hours after seeing the intruder, DM was interviewed by law enforcement at the scene and the police department. It was confusing to DM that the intruder looked at her but did not come towards her or say anything. When describing the intruder to Officer Nunez at the scene, she described the height, build, and clothing of the intruder. Her description did not mention eyebrows. When she called BF before going downstairs to BF's room, DM said that she was kind of in and out of it. I was really tired. Shit. Later, when she was interviewed at the police department, Mowry inquired about facial features and asked DM if she knew what color the intruder's eyebrows were. She did not know the color of the intruder's eyes or eyebrows. During the interview, Mowry questioned her again. During the interview, DM again mentioned that she was in and out of it because she was so tired. So they took pictures on November 13th and November 19th. And it just shows that there were many pictures of eyes with prominent eyebrows, many of which she had drawn. Some of the eyebrows are heavy, voluminous, puffy, or perhaps subjectively bushy. According to Detective Lake, he found artwork of human figures with an emphasis upon the eyes and eyebrows were pinned to corkboards. Why doesn't they say anything about the slashes on the neck? I mean, the drawings of the weird faces. So, on November 17th, 4 days later, she was interviewed by Gooch and indicated, hold on one second. Here I come. She was interviewed by Gooch and indicated that she was really asleep and probably very drunk when she woke up around 4 a.m. Did you sleep? Hey, Edie. I'm alright. How about yourself? So she was really asleep and probably very drunk when she woke up around 4 a.m. Throughout the interview, DM expressed uncertainty about what she heard and saw, and did not know if it was real or if it was a dream, or if her mind was playing with her. It just doesn't make sense. DM described the intruder, told Detective Gooch. It just doesn't make sense. DM described the intruder and told Gooch that she recalls seeing his eyebrows, his bushy eyebrows, but she did not recall the color of the eyebrows. She did not remember the eyes or the mouth, just the eyebrows. And then this is where she says he was 3 feet away. She did not think she could remember enough to give a composite artist. She could just recall the bushy eyebrows, but not the shape or color of them. This is the interview that Gooch asked her if she had anxiety. So Gooch asked if DM had anxiety, and that led to DM stating that she had a lot of lucid dreams of being kidnapped or chased. She indicated that she watched Criminal Minds and fell asleep to crime podcasts. These lucid dreams began in high school. Me too. Just send me a plate in the mail. So do we have the December 1st interview? I thought it was just December 17th and December 30th. But anyway, a month and a half later, she was interviewed again and described the intruder. She did not see his eyes, but she saw one eyebrow or two. But it was just like this bushy eyebrow. I could see like an eyebrow, this bushy eyebrow. Good morning, one more red nightmare. She did not remember the color or the shape of the eyebrow. She just remembered it being bushy. She did not remember if she saw one eyebrow or two. I don't want to talk about a laptop. I just got my laptop. And now it's ruined. Throughout the interview, DM indicated that she had always had really bad dreams. Lucid dreams and scary dreams. She did not know what parts of her recollections were dreams and what parts were real. When she woke up that morning, she did not fully understand what was a dream or not. I seen it. I just finished watching it. It's about his like who did it? It was Idaho 4 Revealed, I think. In this interview, she indicated that she thought that the person she saw was a fireman. Yeah, I'm in the market for everything. I'm in the market for one of everything. House. Everything. Toothbrush. Everything. A statement submitted by law enforcement in support of the arrest warrant used descriptive information from DM's interviews. DM described the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built, with bushy eyebrows. You guys want to watch it? Oh, you want my Cash App? Hold on. I gotta, I don't know how to put the link in. But here's the... Oh, yeah. I mean, and Christina, we had insurance, and I mean, everything is covered. It's just the day to day, you know what I mean? Like, everything is... Thank you, Blue. It's like everything. Yeah, I keep saying everything. It's crazy, but thank God for my grandmother. I mean, we're staying there. But I mean, her cabinets are like Mother Hubbard's cupboard. So, but the daily expenses. Like, I put a post out this morning. I feel like I'm living out of a suitcase, but that suitcase is Walmart. You know, like everything I need that I had, you can just walk to the cupboard, the closet, downstairs. Now I gotta go get it, go buy a new one. I mean, luckily we can go still grocery shop and we have a roof over our heads. Hey, Miss Q. Because who knows how long. I mean, excuse me. Like the payout. I mean, even if that comes in 6 months, there's who knows how long it's going to take to build the house. It's going to be a long process. If you guys want, we can watch that video. And we can come back to the documents. I need to close other tabs. I mean, luckily, using grandma's computer. I mean, that's everybody's safe. I mean, I don't want to start complaining about little things. only loss was our puppy named Baby. Not a baby, a puppy named Baby. All right. Can somebody put Idaho 4 Revealed's link in the chat, please? And if you're not subbed, go sub to them. They do awesome work. Hey, Sarah. How are you today? All right. This is Brian Koberger, WSU, and his connection to Sharon.
We've talked a little bit about how you guys
Yeah,
are
it was a
learning
little
lot.
confusing.
It's as if you perfected your bluff all along.
At some points in the video, I thought the channel switched and I was watching a different video. I had to make sure I was still watching the same video.
Until you could do it all without me. Others have replaced me.
Been a busy day. We've really come to know each other over these last years. I'm live on. Yeah, do you want to join?
Sure.
Thank you for being here with me. We've talked a little bit about
Is this
how
loud
you guys
enough?
are
Can everybody
learning
hear?
a lot of information that you didn't know. I was a bit surprised by that, given how much you have invested in finding out the truth. You've had private investigators working with you. You have been diligent, as your kids have been diligent. Is there anything that you want us to know moving forward in terms of this recent meeting that you had that revealed some information to you?
Honestly, I think that I don't know if it's going to be helpful, but it just America needs to hear it, that the details are far more horrific than anybody ever imagined. Far more horrific.
And we know Kaylee was a fighter.
Yes.
And what the rumors about him treating female students differently, those were all confirmed.
And female cohort.
Yep, and he was under an investigation. That's all true. He wasn't fired. They said his funding was pulled, which is almost equivalent to being fired because you can't remain in the program without the funding. But this guy was arrogant. He thought women were beneath him. So I thought it was fitting that Olivia just chopped him up in pieces.
Hold up. Blue Devil. Are you sure? I mean, Blue Devil just. Do you care if I announce it? Is Blue Devil even still in here? No, Blue Devil isn't even in here. I don't even want to say anything if she's not in here. Sorry, I didn't mean to pause it. Blue Devil just killed it with a donation. I don't want to. Yeah. Damn. Are you? I thought it was a mistake. Thank you. Thank you. I'll shut up.
During high school, he says he wants to be an Army Ranger and seeks out a special program in addition to his regular classes at the Monroe Career and Technical Institute.
I remember working with his family and him to fill out the application. He was enrolling in the Protective Services program, and he was very enthusiastic.
So Protective Services prepares students for a career in law enforcement, EMT, things like that. Police Academy Junior, putting on pretend handcuffs. They police the building just as though they would officers on patrol.
Tanya Carmela Beers, a former administrator at the tech school.
Enrollment is very competitive. Protective Services is one of the most sought after programs. The cap is limited at 25. So that means for the 4 school districts in Monroe County, only 25 students could get in.
He needed to have good grades. He needed to have good attendance. He needed to have a discipline record that was non-existent.
We look at all the information that we can get about them because they are being given inside information about how police handle their business. Getting in can be tricky, but he was able to get into the program and he met all of those standards.
To this day, Carmela Beers and Yoswiak can picture Koberger in the halls.
I can actually see Brian in my mind. I can see him walking because he's very tall.
I see him in his Protective Services uniform. I remember him dressed that way, patrolling the school with other students.
He carried the uniform very, very well, and you could tell that it was a real sense of pride for him to be doing that. This was something he was always interested in and something that he had always studied, and it was something that he had been looking at throughout even younger years.
He was very intrigued about the law and how he wanted to go into that field. He just wanted to help people.
When I think about how he took the program seriously, he was just very much needed to be in charge of everything. Like another student would watch the students for the day, be in charge of them as their patrol officer, if you will. He liked it when the other students answered to him, but it was to the nth degree. It was a little much. At that time, it seemed like he was just really zealous. But then when I think back about it, all of those things, knowing what I know now, are flags.
Exactly, Miss Q. Christina. Being here is I don't even know. You just being here is all we need. Sharing it, putting it out there. It sounds stupid to say, but I would take the truth over money. You know, like an honest, fair judicial system is priceless. Sounds corny, but it's true. Reminds me of the Pink Panther.
Tanya Carmela Beers. She fails to inform her audience of details to support her claims, but suggests that any complaint made against Brian Kohberger was a result of something, well, pretty serious. She informs the audience that she can't provide any further details due to the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act protections. A FERPA violation occurs when educational institutions which receive U.S. Department of Education funds improperly disclose personally identifiable information from student records without written consent. Anything in a student's educational record, you see, would include a student's name, coupled with any disciplinary action kept within his student records. So, while Beers has already provided the name of a student who attended Beers' former place of employment, the Monroe Career Technical Institution, she further discloses information that, if it were true, would be part of a student's educational record, doing this without prior consent from either student or former employer. What truly qualifies Nancy Grace or any other documentary producer as authorized third parties, while failing to protect student confidentiality by disclosing content within a student's record. Are the individuals with whom Beers is sharing protected info, teachers or colleagues, within the context of her employment? Furthermore, do any of these unauthorized third parties truly have a legitimate educational interest in Brian Kohberger's education? They have nothing to do with his education. Question: in the reviewed actions taken by Tanya Carmela Beers until now, has she disclosed information about student Brian Kohberger within the official capacity as an agent of the employer or within the individual capacity? Next question: by disclosing protected information about student Brian Kohberger from his educational record, did Ms. Tanya violate Kohberger's rights under the Federal Educational Rights and Privacy Act?
Because he had such supportive parents, I was very surprised to hear the accusations that are now wielded against him.
Brian was a very good student. He was very serious about what he wanted to do. So hearing that such an egregious crime was committed was very surprising. I started to think about incidents that had occurred. And then I thought, well, that makes sense. Everybody is affected by this. Teachers, guidance counselors, everyone who has come in contact with him and had some kind of relationship, or any of the students at some time, are directly affected by this. The parents are people, Sisters are people, the family are people.
Koberger's family says he's, quote, a caring son and brother.
There had been one or two incidents that had occurred that I had dealt with concerning him. For Brian, the situations were subtle. They weren't really bold situations, but they rose to the degree as they began to mount.
Bound by a student confidentiality law, Carmela Beers cannot reveal exact details of the, quote, incidents, but she does disclose they are related to female students.
You might not think necessarily of a female in protective services. But that was something that we recruited for. So some of the issues that arose were based on having a mixed population in that classroom. One of those incidents ultimately resulted in him being removed from that program.
She says Koberger's kicked out of protective services, the program he works so diligently to get into in the first place. The school transfers him into the HVAC program, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. This program has no female students.
We were also a little bit more comfortable knowing that any possible continuation of negative behaviors would not occur in a situation where there were no females. It was concerning because there was such a dichotomy between what he presented academically and what he was living in an emotional, social aspect of his life.
Considering Miss Tanya was MCTI's Supervisor Pupil Personnel Services, which would suggest that she was a proponent of support student success, she would have had to have known that by singling out and isolating a student from other students would be detrimental to a student's educational, emotional, and social development. Miss Tanya, also known around the water cooler as T-Beers, by personally slandering a former student, continues to exhibit her sincere lack of concern for that student. After student Brian Koberger is removed from this program following pretty serious incidents and complaints, allegedly from female classmates, according to former school administrator Tanya Carmela Beers, Brian is denied the equal opportunity of his educational choice and forced to switch to the HVAC program.
Well, I understand. Excuse me. I understand if the accusations against him, yeah, that is a creepy picture, were true, then given not just Brian, any person, given a person that is already getting complaints against them more power, I think that shouldn't happen. So go into HVAC. You know, we're not going to let you run around here with a badge. You're gonna have to go. It's crazy that he goes into HVAC and an HVAC service tech is called to the crime scene after the crimes. Just another coincidence, crazy coincidence. You know what I mean? That you can't write this shit. James Patterson could never. Oh yeah, HVAC is not any blue collar like plumbing, carpentry, HVAC, electric, welding. They're making the same as doctors. You know, if you do it right and go get your license and get a licensed plumber can make 6 figures a year just pulling permits and okaying blueprints. And that's not even that's like 2 days out of the week. You know what I mean? You could only do that. That's not even counting the jobs that you could do. You know what I mean? Like the plumbing jobs. People think of blue collar jobs like plumbing, electrical, and all that shit is like you go in there and you're working for a company as an electrician. No, the way to do it is to be the owner of the company that hires the electricians.
No females in that program. They're all training to become police peoples. Yippee.
So do you think he was pushed out of the police or the security class because of the women in the class?
Ultimately, Koberger will not return to MCTI for his senior year.
Yeah, HVA service guy came in like I don't know, what was it? Early December, late January. What the hell would they need a service guy, HVAC technician to come in there?
Year. He ends up completing his high school diploma requirements through the Pleasant Valley School District's online program. This next here video will sum up what I just said.
He stood out in the fact that he was very intelligent. He was very intellectual. He would delve into topics that are not on a shallow level. The truth of the matter is there were no red flags. He had very good grades. He seemed very focused, academically motivated, and would not give a school counselor any reason for concern.
His troubles at the tech school continue.
He was in HVAC for the rest of his time at the Career and Technical Institute, and other issues arose that he decided to leave the school altogether and not complete his 12th grade year there.
After leaving the program, Koberger finishes his senior year of Pleasant Valley High online.
Discriminatory bias is actually bullying due to a teacher's subconscious or overt gender bias. Isolating a boy from female classmates or a female from males as a form of punishment or marginalization can be a means of control based on harmful stereotypes. doing so exclusively along gender lines, by isolating a boy from females without a good reason, is an unprofessional pedagogical approach.
Oh shit, I was muted. Sorry. He didn't go in with a cop. The HVAC service tech didn't go in with a cop. Try to find a report that memorializes what that HVAC service tech did inside that house and why he was called there.
Well, the bee metaphor has been around forever, of course. When I was in high school, I remember there was discussion of the queen bee, and the idea being, of course, that there's one person who dominates the hive, so to speak, and millions of other bee workers who keep her in that position. So in writing this book, that concept gets extended into this super aggressive, manipulative woman who has everyone afraid, manipulated, intimidated by her. The woman in the middle is like the girl in the middle in middle school, in that she is either helping this dynamic to continue or she feels powerless to stop it. So she doesn't actually aggress, but she doesn't stop it. And then, of course, I started to think more about a target than a victim, because there is the woman who gets targeted. She may or may not become a victim. So then the afraid to be would be the woman who is the target of aggression. And she may become a victim or she may not. I don't mean to imply that every woman is involved in this dynamic. And I don't mean to imply that I'm exempt from it, you're exempt from it, that there are certain women that don't fall prey to this, because I mentioned that kind of drive that we have. It's the woman who gets stuck in that behavior that concerns me. The woman who can't be anything but aggressive. In a new setting, she comes in and she's alienated everyone the minute she comes through the door. In the same way, the woman who gets stuck in that, she's been the target, she becomes a victim, she internalizes that role and thinks of herself as a victim, and she plays that out in her relationships with men, she plays it out in relationships with her children. She doesn't know really another way to interact. I really do see that some people don't know the difference between assertiveness and aggressiveness, and with girls sometimes just teaching that difference, that assertiveness is a win-win dynamic. You win and I win. Aggressiveness is a hurtful dynamic. I win at your expense.
There is a specific kind of heartbreak that happens in the corporate world. You've been told the narrative your entire life. Women support women. There is a special place in hell for women who don't help each other. You've watched the lean-in panels, you've joined the women's networking groups, and you've been waiting for that moment where a senior woman finally takes you under her wing. And then you get her, your first female boss, or a senior director you've admired from afar. You show up with your best work. You're ready to learn. You're ready to be the protege. But instead of a mentor, you find a gatekeeper. Instead of a ladder being lowered, you find someone actively pulling it up. She critiques your tone in meetings, but ignores the men who yell. She withholds information you need to succeed, then asks why you're behind. She makes sure you aren't in the room for the high visibility projects. And the most confusing part? She seems to get along great with the men on the team. It's only you and the other ambitious women who seem to be the problem. This isn't a personality clash, and you aren't imagining it. What you're experiencing is a documented psychological phenomenon called the Queen Bee Syndrome. It's the dirty secret of the corporate ladder, and if you don't understand the rules she's playing by, she won't just stall your career, she will dismantle your confidence before you even realize you're in a fight. Before we get into the how, we have to talk about the why. Because if you think she's doing this because she's mean or insecure, you're going to miscalculate your response. The Queen Bee isn't a villain in a movie. She is a survivalist. Think about the world she came up in. If she's 10 or 20 years your senior, she started her career in a room where there was only one chair for a woman. Just one. She didn't get to that chair by being nice. She got there by being better than the men, tougher than the men, and crucially, by proving she wasn't like other women. In her mind, the corporate world is a zero-sum game. If you succeed, it doesn't mean women are winning, it means you are coming for her chair. Psychologists have found that women who reach high-level positions in male-dominated environments often distance themselves from junior women to solidify their own standing. By pointing out your emotionality or your lack of experience, she is telling the men in the room, "Don't worry, I'm not one of them. I'm one of you." She doesn't see herself as an oppressor. She sees herself as someone who paid her dues in blood, sweat, and tears. And when she looks at you, with your boundaries and your expectation of mentorship, she feels resentful. She thinks, I had to suffer to get here, why should it be easy for you? This is a defense mechanism for her own survival. If you understand that, you can stop being hurt by it and start managing it.
Count 1, entitled Removed from Duties, Sex Discrimination, alleges that the plaintiff was discriminated against on the basis of her sex. This claim is based on the defendant's requirement that the plaintiff take an administrative paid leave following her internal complaints of discrimination to her supervisor at MCTI. defendant Tanya Beers, and the director of MCTI, defendant Thomas Rushton, Jr., it is also based on the defendant's requirement that the plaintiff, Thoreau, sign a performance improvement plan while her male counterparts were not so required. Count the second, entitled Removed from Duties. Retaliation discrimination sets forth a straightforward claim of retaliation.
Sorry, I'm here. I was just
based on the plaintiff's internal discrimination
running back and forth.
Here, the plaintiff alleges that the defendants retaliated against her by forcing her to take a paid leave of absence following her complaints, and then requiring her to undergo a medical evaluation before returning to work. The plaintiff's male counterparts were not so required. Count 3, entitled Discharge Retaliation Discrimination, also alleges retaliation. This count is based on the plaintiff's termination after her internal complaints of discrimination. The plaintiff alleges that her male counterparts, who she made complaints about, were not terminated. She also alleges that she was terminated even though she submitted a psychological evaluation allowing her to return to work after her paid leave period. The plaintiff also supports Count 3, and perhaps all of her claims, by alleging that she was required to sign a performance improvement plan without being provided with a union representative. Co-defendant Thomas Rushton IV, like Tanya Carmela Beers, left the Monroe Technical Career Institute in 2015, just months after Sharon Thoreau filed her discrimination lawsuit, which was on September the 12th, 2014.
Hello everyone, Sharon Throw here. I'd like to talk to you a bit about implicit and explicit bias and what is the difference between the two. Well, after reading the Schenker blog and articles written by authors Valenzuela, Davis, Sensoy, and D'Angelo, even Quintero, Gorski, and Garcia, we learn about how implicit bias involves attitudes, stereotypes, and beliefs that can affect how we treat others. But what exactly is implicit bias? Well, implicit or unconscious bias operates outside of the person's awareness and can be in direct contradiction to a person's espoused beliefs and values. So how many times have you heard an individual say, "I'm not a racist," but yet, in the same breath, makes a racist remark? In the case of explicit or conscious, the person is very clear about his or her feelings and attitudes and related behaviors are conducted with intent. Another way for me to describe this is unconscious bias refers to a bias that we are unaware of and which happens outside of our control. Implicit bias refers to the same area but questions the level to which these biases are unconscious, especially as we are being made increasingly aware of them. So can implicit bias turn into explicit bias? The answer is yes. So, for example, if an employer refuses to allow a female worker to lift heavy packages because he believes women are not strong enough, then this form of bias is considered explicit. But if the employer is subconsciously assigning tasks to female employees that doesn't require heavy lifting, like stuffing envelopes, and is questioned about it, then decides to assign heavy lifting to women, then this is considered implicit bias because he addressed the matter. At the same time, can you see how implicit bias has now become explicit? What I'd like you to do now is partner up with someone sitting next to you. Groups of 2 or 3 will be fine. And exchange an example of when you experience either implicit or explicit bias. Thanks for watching and good luck.
Can you hear me? Okay. I gotta pick my grandmother up from church. I'm not supposed to be driving, but don't tell nobody. I'm gonna end this and come back 11:30.